So after a long delay, we do another good company number 8. And we're going to start out, me and Peter, talking a little bit about the competition we started last time. And we picked a couple of winners that are going to get a message. But we have one person who actually did a really, really nice comment who we want to give a special shout out to.
Yep, and I can't even pronounce his name because it's one of our Danish users. He's actually been semi-part of this before. He actually wrote in one of the first questions for back in the day when it was me and Andreas doing this. And side player,
yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Thank you for you and to a couple of others, probably 2 others, will be getting some loot sent home. You'll be getting a message about this, so you kind of need an address to send it to.
Yeah, but nice getting some feedback, and we'll try to do what you want.
We try to implement as much as possible. But yeah, we got some good stuff to think about, and how we can make good company even better in the future, or even better. We just sit here and talk. That's what we do. We'll try to develop evolution of whatever.
Yeah, let's see where it goes.
You've been playing games.
Yes. I played, of course, here when we're in the office, have to do video reviews. I tried some different games, and the one I liked the most, I think, was actually the Lego Star Wars game. The Clone Wars, which is really cool. I've watched the TV series.
Yeah, that's the main difference. We just recorded a review of this like 20 minutes ago with Thomas, who's the main reviewer. But he has no concept of Star Wars in the sense that, especially you do. The story, how does that tie in with the television series?
It's really nice because actually some of the levels are just one episode of the Clone Wars. So, for instance, I really liked an episode called The Rookies or Rookie, where you follow the clone troopers, and there's actually one level that's just called that. So you play that episode, which is really cool.
Which episode is that? Which season?
It's the 3rd season. I think most of these are 3rd season. But I played a bit with Thomas as well, so it's fun. And it's as he said in the review, standard fun Lego stuff. And if you like Star Wars, it's cool. Right. And then I started playing Little Big Planet 2 again, which, I mean, the community for that game is just insane. There keeps coming insanely cool levels, just like games that are not supposed to be in Little Big Planet. So that's really nice.
Cool. And
you have been playing in a different location, you could say?
Well, I started to play EVE Online again. I'd been booted by my corp because I haven't had time to play in like the last 9 months, but they still allowed me to be there. And then now I found out they kicked me. But I went to...
went to Iceland.
I went to Iceland. I went to the CCP EVE Online Fanfest, which is this like convention they hold once a year. And coming back from that, I just had to start playing again.
And for people like me who don't know what that actually means, what happens at an EVE convention?
At an EVE convention, you talk about EVE for 3 days. Well, they've really grown this thing. It used to be kind of a rather small thing, but every year it keeps getting bigger. As a game grows in popularity, they keep getting more people to actually go to Iceland to just hang out for 3 days. They have developer panels, roundtables where you can go and discuss certain features with developers. They have this year. One of the absolute main events was the chess boxing, which was awesome.
Yeah, that sounded really cool.
It's such a bizarre idea that you take. They had one employee who's a chess master. Has a lot of whatever those kind of chess points are called, I don't know. And they had another guy who's been the Icelandic champion in boxing.
A lot of boxing points.
Yeah, boxing. He knocked people out, and they say, "Way." But they put those two together in this big event called the chess boxing, where they build up an actual chess ring in the middle of the big room they had, and you have 4 minutes of chess, followed by around like 3 minutes of boxing. And then you go back to the boxing, back to the chess, and then back to the boxing, and so on and so forth.
Until between it.
Yeah, you switch between those things. Until either you get checkmate or a knockout. So you can win by either chess or boxing. And they really went at it. The guy who the chess master, he's still quite a big guy. He was, well, he'd been working out, obviously. And they made this big, like, all the walk-ins with all the lights and smoke and all cameras in their faces. And they really slugged it out during the boxing. It was, the chess guy was bleeding, blood splatter on the smaller boxing guys. And a cheering crowd, of course. But finally, the chess player actually won through checkmate. So
that's cool.
Justice prevails.
The chess player must have been cool to all of a sudden have a huge crowd cheering for you playing chess.
Most certainly. But that was there's a nice trailer for the event. I'm not sure if they put up actual videos from the event, but there's a nice trailer for the chess boxing event on YouTube.
I gotta check that out.
It's hilarious. Other than that, you know, it was 3-4 days of just complete geeking out. It was awesome to see. If you've been to big like open conventions, kind of like PAX in the US, for example, or even Gamescom here in Europe, or Eurogamer Expo or whatever, you know that just being around geeks and nerds, and you have this common interest in games, and you can easily just talk to anyone, more or less, because you know that everybody's interested in games. And here it's just one game, which makes it even easier, and just the kind of camaraderie. Everybody went out together, even though they're deadly enemies in game. Everybody had a good time. Yeah,
I've been to a couple of sci-fi fantasy conventions, and it's even though I'm very Star Wars fanboy guy, but I'm not. I definitely don't feel like a geek when I'm there, and having that thing where everybody's just enjoying whatever and. Like there's none of that. Oh, you're such a geek and all that. It's just it opens up a whole new world between these people, which is really cool. And actually, there was one in Malmö last weekend or something.
Yeah, the sci-fi convention. Yeah, and it's just so nice to see. That's the reason why I started playing when I got back home is the community, not anything that showed you, because there weren't as many like interesting news coming out of FanFest this year. But coming back home, I didn't want to lose touch with that kind of community that exists in many MMOs. So that was fun.
I actually have a question for you about that, because you were this MMO guy and doing the MMO reviews here at Game Reactor. How does that, when the community is such an important part of doing MMOs, and you're playing so many different MMOs, do you meet the same people in different games? And how does it feel then if you haven't played EVE for a while and go back? Is it possible to take breaks from MMOs and come back and that sort of thing?
Absolutely. There's always, of course, the question about like player-run guilds and most, as I call them, most MMOs or corporations, as in any of you know. Especially in EVE Online, especially if you're out in where I was in 0.0 space, which is this lawless space, is much more important to know exactly who you're playing with, where they are, when they're available for wars and industry, whatever. So it's kind of different in EVE in that sense. But in most MMOs, you know, guilds stick together. There's always a risk that you'll come back and your guild is gone, but most of the time, for me, it's always been a cheerful welcome when I come back. For example, like Star Wars Galaxies, I don't play that as much as I used to, but I still log in from time to time and just chat with people in guild and take a tour to see what's new in our guild city and stuff like that. So it's usually not that big a problem. But
people don't cross over? It's not like an EVE guild will go play the Old Republic this summer together or something like that?
This summer, you wish. There's some guilds. I used to be a member of a blogger guild called Casualties of War, COW. And there was a crossover. It started as a Warhammer guild, and then you start adding other, like Fallen Earth and stuff like that. People started playing together, and of course that happens, but usually a guild is just a one-game guild. Okay. But you can definitely see, you can see trends kind of where people are playing. You can follow trends in the MMO genre. By, for example, you saw a lot of people in World of Warcraft from Cataclysm when people started hitting max level and didn't have stuff to do. You could see a lot of people suddenly started drifting towards the Rift betas and then into Rift, for example. But that was usually not an issue. Most of the people I discuss MMOs with are sadly Americans, so I don't actually play that much with them. But yeah, no, not as much not as big a problem as one would think. I understand where the thought comes from.
Yeah,
It's not that much of a problem, really.
that's good.
Well, we're closing in on 10 minutes of me rambling about EVE. I think we better stop good company for this episode. We'll try to be back a bit more often. We'll try to listen to your feedback, especially the comments we received for the last show.
Yeah. But keep giving us feedback.
Yeah, we love getting feedback. Love hearing what you think, because seriously, we're just sitting here talking, so we could do
almost whatever.
almost whatever we want to, as long as it's legal in
all countries,
all European countries, especially in Denmark, where we're actually located. But yeah, we keep the feedback coming. If there's something you like or something you don't like, and we'll get SciPlayer and company the prizes that we've promised you. That's not actually in the studio anymore.
No, there's somewhere.
Some awesome stuff.
We haven't lost them. They're still here.
They're in a pile. We haven't stolen them or anything. But yeah,
I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you guys soon.